In this section, we will discuss about creating a simple application using Node.js. Today in this video, we will be learning about a simple application with API. We will create an app.js code file in which we will be using an API to actually get the weather data. Firstly, we'll create the code, and to actually get the API, we need to go to a website which has free sign up and API. We will get a free API to actually get the data from weather. Firstly, let's look into the site. This is openweathermap.org, which is quite famous to actually get free weather data, agriculture data, etc. We can sign up, and once we sign up, we will get an email in which they will give you an free API. Using this API, we can get the data from weather depending on the location which you chose. This is the link for it. You can actually look into this tutorial which allows you to get a free API. It's just quite simple. You need to sign up and they'll send you an email which has API in it. Let's look at how to use it. There are quite some examples over here which they gave how to use the API. This is one sample. This is all in JSON format. When you look at the link, it is like sample.openweathermap.org. This is just a sample link how you can use the API. In this, we need to use our API key, which we get in an email. And actually, this looks like a real API. This is the actual API link which we are going to use. I used New Jersey, the location, followed by comma US, the country which you are currently in, then the API ID which you get. Let's dive into the code firstly. This is the app.js which we were like coding since all the videos from the beginning. We will be needing HTTP. Let's create that variable first and import the module. HTTP module is imported. Now create a variable, a URL variable in which we will actually send the link, the API link. Let's copy this and paste it. This will be the API link which we will be using. If you have some other city and US, you can use it. There are plenty of APIs in that website which we can use to get the data from. After giving the API, we can actually set the metrics, for example, like this, and units equal to metric. This gives the data, for example, temperature in Celsius. Now that we created the URL, let's dive into creating the server. We need the server to run, right? So let's create a variable server. This is the function create server. Inside will be the callback function. And then all the logic, all the code which you want to actually write goes in here. If you want to actually create a HTML page in which you want to write the JSON format which we get in an orderly manner, in a different way, or if you want to store the data which we get in the JSON format into a specific element of the HTML code, you can do that all over here. For now, let's just stick into simple format. Firstly, we will store the JSON data. We will be needing the request module. You can take this all and cut it and put it over here if you want to. Let's get the request now. In the bracket goes the parameter URL, then the callback function. In this, let's put the JSON data. We will pass the JSON data into this variable. Alright, now that we got the JSON data, we're going to write this data onto our HTML code so that we can show it on our front end. Let's write the responses for this first. We want the response as the HTML code so that when we run it, we will see it in the page in a pretty neat format. For that, let's create the responses first. This is just a simple HTML code where we're going to have a little headers like 2 or 3, and each of this we will be using the JSON format to represent the data. For example, the city name, the temperature, sunset time. We're going to show all these from our JSON data which we got from the API. This. Here we're going to give the city name, so the value will be coming from the JSON data, which is, let's look at the key for the city name. As you can see, the key for the city name New Jersey inside this will be name. So in order to get this data New Jersey, we're going to actually use the keyword name. So all we need to do is data and in the brackets the key, which is name. This will give you the value of the city name. Now let's create a space using br. Alright, now the second response, what we're going to do is we will output the temperature. So in the format, first we're giving the city name, then the temperature, then the sunset time. Let this one be h2 so that it will be second header. The data, the temperature Celsius, we're going to get it from the main, and the keyword for it is temp. There it is. A little space here too. Now the third response will be a simple sunset time. Now for getting the sunset time, let's look at the key where it is present. Sunrise is over here, sunset is over here. So this is present inside the data, which is sys. So what we have to do is we need to use data.sys to get the value of the key sunset. Alright, now we got our city name, temperature in Celsius, sunset time. That's it. Let's close our div, body and HTML code here and then run it. After writing all the responses.write, we need to close the response. In order to do that, we need to use the end method, response.end. Now we closed that. At the end, we need to start making it listen at some of the other port. For us, let's give the port as, let's say, 8080. Alright, now let's run it and see how it goes. Let's get back to the folder. Section 3. Alright, let's run node app.js. And let us run this. There you go. We got our city name, the temperature in Celsius, sunset time, which is according to here, the sun goes down pretty soon, 4:32. Now this is how you can create a simple server with the API. You can create an API link from the link which I've showed you before. Once you get the API with the simple link using the API and creating a simple server, you got the JSON data, and using the JSON data, you use the data to fill in an HTML page. This is very, very basic. You can actually create a very big website out of it with all styling and all, and use the custom data with the options menu. But this is how you can do it.